Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. Now in today's video I'm going to be giving you my top 10 reasons why I bought a second LG C1. So let me know down in the comments below, do you own a C1 or do you own a C2 or are you even waiting for a C3 if it ever does come out? Do let me know in the comments below. So I already own a C1, it's in the sitting room and I have had this since launch. It's the 55-inch version and it is pretty amazing. So much so, I was looking to replace my old 65-inch Samsung TV in the main cave and was eagerly awaiting the launch of the C2. As you can tell, I didn't buy that. Why? Well, the main reason is number 1 in my top 10. The first reason, and probably the main reason for most people, I'd say is price. So this is the 65-inch LG C1 and it cost me £1,300. On launch it cost £1,000 more and that was only 18 months ago. The LG C2 currently costs £2,300. So the choice for me was either the C1 and £1,000 or the C2. I spent time looking up the specs and for me there just wasn't enough of an upgrade to justify the price increase. So, if you do want to get a new TV and want one that holds up in 2022, then your money would go very well spent on the C1. Don't get me wrong, the C2 is an amazing TV, but again, if that's the one you want, maybe wait till the inevitable C3 comes out, whereby the C2 will drop to the current C1 prices. And as you can see, the price drop is uniform across all of the sizes in the range. Second on the list, if you haven't noticed already, is how thin this thing is. This is amazing, but with one caveat which I'll talk about in a second. So this thing is 4mm thin. The rest below is under 5cm thick due to the connections, and it stays this thin, so mounting it on the wall you would be able to get very, very close. Now here's the caveat. It's a thin set, but if like me you want to use it on a stand, the distance from the wall gets negated by the relatively large stands it comes with. The stand, it weighs nearly 9 kilograms and sticks out of the back 15 centimeters, meaning you won't get as close to the wall as you may like, just something to keep in mind. The bezels of the screen on the front are barely noticeable at a regular viewing range and come in at around 10mm, which makes for an almost floating style picture. And when you get the LG screensaver up in works of art, they actually do look like the paintings hanging on the wall. The whole thing weighs 32.6 kilograms. With the stand, it's 145 centimeters wide, 86 centimeters high, and 25 centimeters deep. But without the stand, you're looking at 3 centimeters shorter and 50 centimeters thinner. Third on the list is the UI. Now I've had my fair few of different smart TVs in my time and the UI changes between all of them. Some have been poor and some have been downright awful. TV UI is never really fantastic, but in its case it's no different. However, it's not bad. It's pretty intuitive with the on-screen prompts and navigation, but it does take some getting used to. The inclusion of a home screen and an LG home screen is a particular wonderment of mine, but still, it's not bad and probably the best I've used so far. The best part is when you press Game Priority, and then you press Settings, you get a small bar at the bottom which gives you key features about the game that you're playing, such as FPS and whether VR is active. It's a nice touch. As mentioned before, the UI also has a screensaver which looks like works of art hanging on your wall. It's pretty cool. The UI has also helped along with fourth on my list, and that's the remote. This is a great remote as it has motion control and I personally get on really well with it. One waggle of the remote and a cursor appears on the screen, making it a breeze to select what you need. The click vertical scroll wheel in the centre is great to use. All the buttons are nice and clicky and a shortcut to many popular streaming services. It is one of the TVs I've ever used that I haven't actually replaced with a third-party remote. Fifth is one thing that is underlooked when purchasing a TV, and that is the number of ports, specifically HDMIs. You need to look into the specs of most TVs when searching online to find out how many it has, and sometimes you can miss this and end up getting a TV that you can't plug all of your gear into. I have a PS5, Xbox, Switch OLED and a Mac that all need HDMI. Unfortunately, this TV has 4 HDMIs. It also has optical out for my headphones and 2 USBs that I mainly use to get power to some LEDs. It also comes with Bluetooth, and to give credit where credit's due, the lag with Bluetooth headphones isn't as bad as you may think it would be. Certainly not usable when needing 100% syncing, but for occasional use, it's pretty good. So along with the number of HDMIs is number 6, which is HDMI 2.1. For anyone wondering what that's about, it's a huge thing when it comes to gaming. Next-gen consoles such as Xbox Series and the PS5 can run output of 120 frames per second, which you haven't experienced it makes the games incredibly smooth playing. 30 frames per second is adequate, I'd say 60 is at least the standard, and 120 is like butter on silk. To get 120 FPS, you need HDMI 2.1 in your TV, which isn't rare, but it's certainly not common. I'd say most people don't change their TV every year, and I fully expect to keep the LG C1 for a fair few years. If you end up buying a TV that only outputs HDMI 2.0, then when 120 FPS is commonplace, or if you already have a next-gen console, you'll need to upgrade your TV just to keep up. So get a TV now that has HDMI 2.1, save you missing out in the near future if you need it. And as for other specifications, I will leave a list at the end of the video with a breakdown of all of the stats of the LG website. On to number 7 now, and this is the out-of-box appearance. My last Samsung, I was changing, tweaking and adjusting for what seemed like every day I owned it. The LG C1 is great out of the box, and if you are that kind of person that can't be dealing with endless number tweaking settings, then you'll be fine. Okay, you can tweak it to improve it if you want to, but the idea is you don't need to, and as much as other settings out of the box. If you're gaming on it, all you need to do is turn on Game Optimizer and you're pretty much good to go. Then when you have the time and inclination, go through some YouTube videos and adjust it. But the thing is, day one, you're golden. So this is how it looks, and I have a window right next to it, fully open with the sun pouring through. Okay, so you can see some reflections at the right angle, but for viewing direct on, it's perfect. 8th on my list are the speakers. Now the speakers inside the LG C1 are okay. They certainly aren't bad. They're completely usable, so if you don't want to spend extra money on surround sound speakers or a soundbar, then you'll be okay. The speakers are definitely a selling point, as they do a good job of pumping out the sound with very clear vocals and some sense of surround. Having said that, if you do want speakers for the next level, then get a soundbar or some extra surround speakers. I use the Sonos Ray, an affordable, excellent soundbar, which I've made a video on recently. 9th up is the extras that come with a TV. As far as a smart TV is concerned, it has pretty much everything you need thrown in. Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Apple HomeKit, voice search, Echo connection, screen share, AirPlay 2, web browser, file browser, Netflix, Freeview, Disney, Apple TV. Pretty much everything you need. You won't go wanting with this lot this thing packs. The only thing it's missing is the newly released Xbox Cloud Gaming, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come at some point. Last on the list is something that gets overlooked sometimes, and that is the running cost of the TV. So I did some pretty scientific testing and calculated how much the TV would cost if it was on for 24/7 for an entire year, giving you a maximum running cost. Prices will vary due to the fluctuation in cost of electricity around the world, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, so I plugged the TV on and I gamed for an hour, and then I worked out how much that would cost if I do the entire time gaming 24/7. If it was on the whole time, I would expect to pay £290 a year just to keep this TV running. So if I take that down, I think I can reasonably deduce that if I use the TV for just 4 hours a day, that it will cost me just short of £50 a year to run. But knowing I don't even hit that 4 hours a day, I won't be worried about too much about how it costs, even if electricity is at its highest cost it's ever been. So there you have it then. There's my 10 reasons why I still believe that the LG C1 is still the best TV you can get for your money in 2022 and beyond. I'm going to be waiting for the C3 and stacking it up against the C1 to see whether it's worth buying that. You never know, I might end up buying a C2 at a cheaper price. So for a couple of £100, over £1,000, you can get one of the best OLED TVs currently on the market. I will update this video next year when I buy the C2 or C3 for the same price as the C1, or when the C3 comes out. Okay then, until that video then, till the next time. Bye bye.